Rutherford's model, these were overcome by Bohr's model. He took the Rutherford model to be the basis. Okay, from that he removed the drawbacks that were present in the Rutherford model. So I think in class 8 you have gone through the Bohr's model. So I will also explain here in details, but just to remind you about class 8, what you have studied about in class 8 for chemistry, I am just reminding you. Okay. So in Bohr's model, this is the nucleus and these are the orbits. So N for nucleus and these are the electrons. Okay, these are the electrons. These are the electrons. Okay, only one electron I can draw it, and for explanation only one electron is required. But when we will draw the model of the different atom, then we will draw the structure in detail. Okay. Now you see, according to the Rutherford model, he explained that the electrons revolve in a circular orbit. These electrons revolve, and ultimately the drawback was that ultimately the electron will fall into the nucleus, because during revolution it will lose some energy. Therefore, in Bohr's model, what he explained that these electrons are permitted in spatial orbits, or see the first point of the Bohr's model you can go, the spatial orbits known as the discrete orbits of the electrons are allowed inside the atom. Only certain spatial orbits, only what in the first point it is given, only certain spatial orbits known as discrete orbits of the electrons are allowed inside the atom. That is, this electron, for example, if there is a room only for 2 people, if the 3-4 people come here, then the stability of the room will be destroyed. Therefore, similarly, these orbits also consist of some definite energy to hold the number of electrons. Say for example, the first orbit can hold 2 electrons, not more than that. So these 2 electrons will have definite amount of energy to reside in this orbit. Okay, so this was the drawback. This was the first drawback, that is from the Rutherford model was removed by the Bohr's model of atom. Next, the second point you see, where first point you can go through your book, only certain spatial orbits are permitted inside the atom. Are permitted inside the atom for the electrons. Okay, and these are only these orbits, and these orbits are known as what? Discrete orbit. Discrete means they are only for 2 electrons, or say for example only for 8 electrons. So these are therefore known as discrete. Next, second point you see, while revolving in discrete orbits, the electrons do not radiate energy. Second point, that is the radiation of energy was the drawback of Rutherford's model. So while this electron, whenever this see the electrons, one more thing, when one electron is moving anti-clockwise direction, the other will move in clockwise direction, clockwise and anti-clockwise. This you will come to know in higher studies. So but I am giving you just for explanation. Say these 2 electrons, since these 2 electrons consist of that amount of energy to reside in the orbit, so they will have, that is second point of Bohr's model is that they will contain definite amount of energy, and they will not radiate energy while revolving around the nucleus in the orbit. So this was the drawback removed by Bohr's model. These 2 are the postulates of Bohr's model, that is only spatial orbits, discrete orbits are allowed inside the nucleus, allowed inside the atom. Secondly, while revolving around the nucleus, the electrons does not radiate energy from its orbit. Okay, these are the Bohr's atomic model. And now he explained these orbits or the cells. Now he called these orbits. These are called orbits by Rutherford's model, but this Bohr's model or Bohr's considered to be the cells. These cells are nothing but energy level. These are called as energy levels. See, this energy level, he named this energy level. Now I will give you if you have remembered from class 8 that K, L, M, and these are the energy levels which was given by Bohr's atomic model. Now you will go the name of the cells will be given to you. This is the nucleus. See, I am giving you the nucleus in the shaded portion. Okay, this the first cell. These are the, what are these orbits are known as energy cells according to Bohr's model. So this, the name of this cell is, see here, this level, this orbit is number 1 from the nucleus. This orbit is known as K cell. See, my diagrams are not so good, so you will draw it in a proper way. Okay, this is known as L cell. Let's draw it in a proper way. Here n is equal to 2. This is known as M cell. N is equal to 3. See, energy level 1, it is known as K cell. Energy level 2, it is known as L cell. Energy level 3, it is known as M cell. Now further we can go also. N is equal to 4. If you are not seeing in the lower portion, I will write it here. And whenever n is equal to 4, it is known as N cell. K, L, M, N. These are the energy level, and it will continue, and then O, P, Q, R, S, T. You can continue in this way. So energy level first is known as K cell, second L cell, third M cell, and fourth it is known as N cell. Up to now we will these cell numbers are required for writing the electronic configuration. What is electronic configuration? Electronic configuration is the proper arrangement of the electrons inside the atom. Okay, these cells are therefore required for writing the electronic configuration. Okay. Now you will see about the distribution of the electrons inside the nucleus. Now you see, these are the points how you can see in topic number 4.3. Before going to topic number 4.3, you will go through topic number 4.24 in your book. You see that there is given neutron is a topic, there it is given. Okay, now after the discovery of the Bohr's theory, after the discovery or explanation of Bohr's theory, the neutrons were discovered, and it was discovered by James Chadwick. And what are neutrons? Neutrons are nothing but the neutral particles present inside the nucleus, contributing to the atomic mass of an atom. What I am telling, neutrons are neutral spaces or particles present inside the nucleus which is contributing towards the atomic mass of the atom. So these are the neutrons, and it was discovered by James Chadwick. Okay, see students, you will write in this way: electron, proton and neutron. You will make 3 columns and find out the difference between electron, proton and the neutrons. What are electrons? Electrons are negatively charged particles, protons are positively, and neutrons are neutral particles. Then you can write about the discovery, who discovered electron, proton and the neutron. In this way you can write the difference. Okay, you will make in your copies, you will make 3 columns: electron, protons and the neutrons. And discovery you can write, I have given in section B, I think I have given you this as homework. The other section student will also write it. Okay, since I will only teach you for class 9, I will go through this chapter. Okay, so Anand sir will not teach you this chapter anymore. I am telling you for section A students. Next you see the distribution of electrons in the cells. Distribution of electrons in the cells. So these are the points given by Bohr's model only. They see the first point, the maximum number of electrons present in a cell is given by the formula. The first formula it is given that the maximum number, say for example, see the formula it is 2n square is equal to, or you can write in this way, short form. Okay, maximum number of electrons is given by the formula 2n square. This n is the number of cell. Okay, now you see n is equal to 1 here, therefore the maximum for whenever n is equal to 1, then number of electrons is equal to 2 into 1 square is equal to 2. Therefore the maximum number of electron present in the first energy level, that is the k cell, is equal to 2. Then in the second cell you see for n is equal to 2, the maximum number of electrons will be equal to 2 into 2 square, it is equal to 2 into 2. 2 square means 4, therefore the number of electrons will be 8. Then it will continue. Therefore the maximum number of electrons in L cell is equal to 8. For next you see 2 into n square here will be, it will be equal to 3 square. Therefore 2 into like something no 2 into 9, it is equal to 18. Therefore the next for n is equal to 3, the number of electrons will be 18. Next 2 into 4 square, that will be equal to 32. Therefore for k cell, for k the maximum number of electron will be, see I am writing here, okay, for k 2, for L 8, for m it is equal to 18, for n it is equal to 32. So these are the number, and it will continue in the further. Okay. Next you see the second point, it is given that the maximum number of electrons present in an outermost orbit. See from the outside, this I am writing here, or I am drawing here 4 cells, K, L, M, N. 4 cells are drawn here. You see this N is the outermost orbit, that is the outermost cell. So the outermost cell will always contain 8 number of electrons. Students, you see, you have to write this point from your book. How are electrons distributed in an atom, you can write from your book also. So first point is the maximum number of electrons present in the atom. Second point, the maximum number of electrons present in the outermost orbit, it will be equal to 8. Okay. This is the second point. And thirdly, electrons are not accommodated in the given cell unless the inner cells are completed. Say for example, the third point, it says that, for example, 16 electrons are given. Okay, now you have to distribute this 16 electron in the cells of the atom. So how you will write? See, first you have to draw the I will draw it here. See, 16 electrons are present. 16 electrons are present. According to this given rule, that 2 electrons will be accommodated in the first cell. Next, 16 minus 2, what will be 16 minus 2? It will be equal to 14. Next, you see the second orbit can hold what number of electrons? It can hold only 8 number of electrons. Therefore, the second cell will continue will have 8 electrons. Next, now 14 minus 8, it is equal to 6. 8 plus 2, 10, 10 plus 2, 6, 16. Okay. Next, the second cell will contain 8 electrons, and the outermost cell, that is, it will have 6 electrons. So this will be the arrangement of the electrons. 2 first in the first cell, 8 in the second cell, and 6 in the third cell. So 2, 8, 6. This will be the distribution of electron. But you cannot write it in this way. For example, I have written 8 in the first cell. From seeing the second, that is the second point, that is given that 8 electrons will be present in the outermost orbit. That does not mean that we have to write directly 8 electrons in the outermost orbit. Okay. First, it will be arranged in an ordered manner. 2, 8, 6. You cannot write directly 8 here, then the remaining electron you cannot arrange in the innermost orbit. I hope you are getting my point. Okay, from the inner orbits, unless and until these numbers k equal to 2, l is equal to 8, m is equal to 18, n equal to 32, these numbers, unless and until it is fulfilled in the innermost orbit, we cannot accommodate 8 electrons in the outermost orbit. I think I am clear to you. Okay, these 3 are the points. The first point, you have to write maximum number of electrons that is present in the orbit is equal to 2n square. Second point, 8 electrons are present uh, maximum number of electrons present in the outermost cell is equal to 8. And the third point, that is electrons are in a given cell. The electrons in a given cell are accommodated. The electrons are accommodated in a given cell unless the inner cells are not occupied. Unless and until the inner cells are not occupied, the outermost orbits are not fulfilled. These three are the main postulates these three are the main points for the distribution of electron in an atom according to Bohr's model. From the Bohr's model only we have got these three things. Maximum number 2n square. Repeatedly I am telling you, maximum number of electron is equal to 2n square. Secondly, 8 electrons can be accommodated in the outermost orbit. And the third point, that is unless and until the outermost inner cells are fulfilled, the outermost orbits cannot be fulfilled. Okay, that is outermost and outermost orbit cannot take electrons. So these three are the main points or the main inference that we have extract from the Bohr's model. Next, you see now the next topic comes about the valency. The valency will come from the valency, it is a number. Okay, it is a number or it is the combining capacity of an atom or of an element with other elements. So this valency will come from the atomic structure only. First, I think in class 8 you have gone through the models of different atoms. Now you see the first atom, according to the atomic number we will arrange the atoms in the atomic model that was given by Bohr. So for atomic number 1, that is hydrogen atom. Hydrogen atom consists of one nucleus with one proton inside it and one electrons in the orbit. And this cell is since n is equal to 1. See here n is equal to 1 and we know that whenever n is equal to 1, the cell is known as K cell. With this nucleus will contain how many number of proton? It will contain the number of proton is equal to 1. Okay. Now you see this K cell. Here you see we from the the three postulate, that is the maximum number of electrons, the number of electrons that might be present in the outermost orbit, and that is how we will arrange the electrons in an ordered manner. From that we come to know that the electrons in the outermost orbit, it should be 8. Since hydrogen consists of only one electron, therefore its configuration, that is, what is configuration? You can write configuration or electronic configuration. It is nothing but the distribution of an electron, distribution of the electrons present in an atom, distribution of electrons in an atom in a ordered way or manner. This is known as electronic configuration. Now you see the electronic configuration, in short I will write as EC because it will take a lot of time to write the whole spelling. The configuration for hydrogen, electronic configuration for hydrogen, it will be 1. And since one electron is only present here, therefore one electron will be present in the K cell, and therefore its valency, you see the maximum number of electron in K cell, you have come to know that it is 2. Therefore the valency of hydrogen is equal to 2 minus 1 is equal to 1. Therefore this will be the valency. And what is valency? It is the combining capacity. You can see in your book, or you can write here from here, combining capacity of an element. This is known as the valency. Next we will go through the second element, that is helium. The number of the number of electron present in helium is 2 with 2 protons. Here you see this is the nucleus. Since only 2 electrons are present, we know that in the K cell the maximum capacity is equal to 2. Therefore, the 2 electrons will be present in the K cell, and here the electronic configuration EC will be equal to 2. And you see, since 2 electrons are present here and the maximum capacity of this cell is equal to 2, therefore the valency here, how we will calculate valency, will be equal to 2 minus 2, that is equal to 0. Since see, the valency of helium is equal to 0, and the elements which have 0 valency are known as the noble gases. Noble gases. See, these are the elements which are known as noble gases: helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon and radon. These are the elements which have 0 valency and are termed as noble gases, or they are also known as inert gases. So I will conclude with this. In helium, in the next session we will discuss about the other elements from atomic number 3. Thank you.